Go.
All right, and we're live. We're sorry we couldn't have Ari for you, but you got myself, the Onmore of Analytics, Drew Cohen, along with my fellow Ball Habatim member, the Grizzled Vet, Natan Cohen. We are very, very excited with a literal all-star cast of characters who have agreed to join us today. We'll start out with Miles. Miles Mallory just, as a lot of you saw, just won the national championship. He's a player. He averaged 15.5 points, 9.5 rebounds, 2.5 blocks per game. Miles, in his junior year, has already broken the Randolph-Macon all-time record for blocks in a career. I think he has 190. He's been awarded with obviously the second-team All-American. He had All-Region player. He won the Defensive Player of the Year in the ODAC. Along with many other accolades. Miles, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having
me. We also got Jake Rohde. Jake Rohde is a player who has terrorized our adopted sister conference, the CCIW, for the last 4-5 seasons, actually, right? Did you redshirt your freshman year?
I did redshirt my freshman.
Yeah, so technically for the last 6 seasons, actually. Jake's been around for a very long time. Jake averaged 23 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. He broke the all-time record for points in a season. No, is it the all-time record for assists in a season? Sorry, it might have been wrong.
I didn't hear you. My fault.
All-time scoring leader. I think Matt had broken the all-time scoring points record there by 2 points this year at Emory. But Jake, the assist man,
yeah,
and all-time scoring.
And Jake has won the CCIW. Has been all-region CCIW. He's a 3-time D3 Hoops All-American. And we're very excited to have him join us. Jake, welcome.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Next, we got Matt Schnarr. Matt Schnarr plays in Emory. He has one of the craziest stat lines I've seen of any player. He averages over the season. He averaged 23.5 points, 8.7 rebounds, 3.6 assists. He did that on tremendous shooting efficiency, both on field goal percentage as well as from behind the line. He broke Emory's all-time scoring record on his last shot against Wabash. And he's 6 in a single season. He's 6 all-time in Emory scoring. Matt, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Congrats to the guys here for a great season. Miles, congrats on the national championship this past week.
Yeah, thank you.
No, this has been awesome. It's truly an honor to have you guys here. We're introducing ourselves, Max Fan Podcast, but really our fans ourselves over the past number of years as Yeshiva University has become a little bit more relevant to the national conversation, getting more into what's going on, and you cannot watch D3 basketball and not see you guys, again, all the accolades more than deserved, but again, just watching the games, watching the ins and outs, watching the way you guys both lead and develop on both sides of the ball. It's been amazing. Like this is like a true fanboy episode. So apologize if it comes across that way. It's not going to be as beautiful and formal and official as some of the Hoopsville things, but this, we're probably going to pitch you on the wonderful grad school that we have here at Yeshiva University. It's amazing grad options. Matt, I know you're thinking about it. We got, it doesn't make a difference. We're happy to have everybody come and join. There's nothing official about this, but some incredible, whether you're a business major, a law major, whatever it is, Yeshiva University's got great things to offer. But really, we're excited to turn it over and just hear a little bit about, I think what we wanted to start with you guys, a little bit where it all begins, and then obviously the culmination. We know where it ended up this past season, but want to hear a little bit, and feel free, whoever wants to jump in, just talk a little bit about your D3 story. I mean, what we're really intrigued about, a lot of this is why D3, meaning, again, with the caliber of ball you guys play, how'd you end up here, right, in the D3 world, versus maybe other options that were available to you, and now that you're here, what's really grabbed your attention about D3? I don't know if we want to start, who wants to jump in and start, but if anyone's brave enough.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and kick us off. I'm from South Florida originally, and tried to play had great high school experience in South Florida. Looked into playing Division III and Division II basketball out of high school. Knew I wanted to play basketball. Came to Emory, had some visits lined up with some other Division IIs in Florida, some other Division IIIs in the Northeast, and came to Emory and fell in love with it. Fell in love with the program. Fell in love with the guys. It was an easy choice for me. Canceled all my visits after that, and came to Emory. And I don't think I was one of the higher recruits that Emory had on our list of guys. I came in with a class of 7 guys. So my freshman year had surgery on my foot, so broke my foot early in about 4 weeks into our fall workouts, and so redshirted my entire freshman year. That's why I have another year of eligibility after this year, which we may come back to later in the show. But and after that first year, I was able to have a great sophomore year, a great junior year. Obviously got hit with COVID after that, and took the year off from Emory as a whole. And we weren't doing a whole lot at Emory. I know at some of the other schools at Randolph, you guys were still playing. That wasn't going on down here at Emory. And so took the year away from basketball, and that made this year so much more special. Just not being able to compete for a year and have that experience made this year so much more special. Had Roman Williams and Nick Stuck come back with me. They were, in my class. They were supposed to graduate last year, came back for another year. So that's been really special to share this year with them. And this year at Emory, obviously, there's certain things that I want in my career that we came up short of, but 3 straight UAA championships at Emory, and I think we've built a tremendous program, and I think the future is bright for Emory, whether that involves me or not. And I'm very proud that I made the decision to come here. It's been a tremendous experience for me.
That's awesome. Before we introduce sort of our impromptu guest that we're excited to have, I just want to give a personal shout out to South Florida. I'm North Miami Beach. Grew up North Miami Beach. Played at Hill High School in NMB, and a big shoe is out there in Miami now, soaking up the rays. So we are big fans of South Florida. Happy. I think you're out in Boca, right, or somewhere near there, close by.
That's right. My dad's from Miami Beach. He went to Miami Beach High, so we've been around that area a lot. And it's a great place to grow up. Maybe I'll end up back there when it's all done. But great place to be, South Florida for sure.
Yeah, let that be a lesson from one of the older guys here. I married a Jersey girl, and I've been stuck now in Jersey for the past 20 years. So just as you guys make choices throughout life, sometimes it's basketball, sometimes like just think about where you want to end up maybe. But love is love, and it's beautiful. But Ryan,
yes.
welcome back, I would say, to the Ball Habatim here. We have some peers that you might know, but welcome. Thanks for joining us.
How we doing? Glad to be here, man. I love the Ball Habatim.
Oh my God, it's the man of the hour. Everyone loves this man. Ryan Terrell, what's up?
What up, Ryan? What's good?
I heard we saw a picture. You may have passed up a Knicks game for this, dude.
Yes, I did pass up a Knicks game for this interview specifically.
I'm sure it was for this. I'm sure it was.
We feel honored.
Cool. Jake, I know we're getting into it. Talk to us a little bit about sort of your D3 path. I know we just said, wow, six years sort of going and completing your master's there, but talk to us about sort of D3 for you.
Yeah. When I was first getting recruited, I just kind of hit it off with Coach Baines really off the bat. It's kind of interesting college career with how many years I've been here. So my freshman year, I had knee surgery, so I only played like 7 games. So I was able to redshirt, thankfully. And I would say like the coolest thing out of all these years was really just sharing the experiences with like my team. Like, for example, that year, I mean, I wasn't playing, I was crutching around, but I'm still doing all these activities with all the guys and stuff like that, which is what we remember the most, not even like the games necessarily. It's something that happened on the bus or in one of the hotels or something like that. So that was, I mean, I'm very blessed to even just have a career that was this long and being able to spend it with people I consider my brothers and best friends and stuff like that. But yeah, going into it, didn't really know what to expect being really short in this sport. Getting to COVID and everything like that, what we had built, we felt like we'd been building it for so many years. I think my actual freshman year, we won 7 games, then a couple 500 seasons, and we were finally getting over the hump. And then it came to an end in the Sweet 16 when it was canceled, which was devastating. But also going off of that, we played 10 games in COVID. I didn't play in those because I was hurt again. And really getting everyone, I mean, we had even a few 6-year guys and another handful of 5th year were like, are we going to really come back and do this? And it was kind of like, we have to see where we could get. Did
you guys talk about it? Like, how did that come? Like, how did that come? Like, did someone sort of start and said, hey, like when did that talk all start? It's one of the most interesting things to me about sort of the amount of sort of 5th year seniors and beyond that people have had this year and how that came to be on some of the teams.
Yeah, and it was really learning on the fly too, with everything kind of going on, a COVID waiver, like what is this? But yeah, it kind of just started where once we kind of found out this news, we're all just kind of looking at each other and are you coming back? Like, is this like, are you coming back? I'll come back if you come back type of thing with, it kind of just went like that. And we all jumped right back on board. And I mean, it definitely was worth it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Miles, what do we got here from you? I know that it ended well, whatever there, and again, it ended well, I guess, for everybody to a certain extent. But as the only junior in the, not the only one not quote unquote finishing their time, you're still sort of in the midst of your journey. So talk to us about sort of how it started for you and Randolph-Macon, sort of why Randolph-Macon.
Yeah, freshman year, I didn't really expect to play right away because I know I was coming into a good team already. I believe they made the Sweet 16 before I got here. And I kind of wanted to be here because, it's been, a winning program. And, high school, I played in a really tough conference and we lost a lot. We had good players, but, we could never get over the top. And so I chose Macon. And then I got here, and before I knew it, I was starting the first game, to my surprise. And then from there, I mean, we had a great season, and I really meshed with the guys. Got with the seniors. The seniors never won like a conference championship, and meant a lot to them when we won that. And then COVID hit us in the Sweet 16, which definitely hurt. But yeah, I mean, freshman year was great. A lot of memories from there. And sophomore year was short. It was, 12 games and, it kind of flew by, and I was playing with a groin injury, and like, I just did not feel the same, at all. Like, I barely practiced, and I would just stand on the side and kind of watch the team practice and play the game. But we would win, and that was great. But I knew I could always give more. And then this year, I mean, obviously the championship was like, great. But I think the best thing is like seeing everybody's faces, when we won the championship, and seeing the seniors who came back for a 5th year, Buzz and Dave. But yeah, I mean, it's my story.
So you guys, since Miles joined Randolph-Macon, their record is 73-2 in 3 seasons. It's an astounding record. That's
thank God Buzz has some talent on that team, so he could lean on. That's really helpful. So Buzz, thank you for joining right at the time. We know once Miles started talking, we knew you weren't going to be long behind. On this show we'll say co-player of the year. Honors. I know in Hoopsville, Dave made a little joke as well. So we would like to keep it going here. But we were sitting here talking a little bit about sort of D3 and sort of the, a little bit of that why D3 that we've loved and come to be exposed to so much. I think, some folks have heard you in different places talk about, but just give us a little bit about sort of your D3 journey, and then maybe we'll talk to everyone about sort of, a little bit about this season. We have obviously 3 folks here from the championship game, and it's just it's to us it was just incredible to watch this season play out. Talk to us a little bit, Buzz.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This guy Miles is a killer, 73-2. That is crazy. It was funny you said we've had a connection since he got here. So the fact that I joined when he was talking seems fitting. But yeah, no, I've loved my experience at Macon. I think like a lot of good players that probably slipped through the cracks, I probably big time Division III at first. I was thought as a lot of guys competitor. I thought I could play at the highest level. I always dreamed wanting to play in March Madness and all that stuff. But I can remember my first summer camp. I go and we do a summer camp that's a week long every summer, and we work with kids doing the normal stuff, and then we play pickup at night. And so that first summer, that first night, I just got my butt handed to me. And it was like, these guys can really go. They had alumni who come back and play, and just really humbled and got back to work. And really, it's been a journey of pain since then. My freshman year, probably a lot of people don't know, I lost in the quarterfinals of a conference tournament. So we went 18-8. We were the 1 seed going into the conference tournament. We lost by 1 to the 9 seed, and guy actually hit a game-winning bucket on me. It was a senior point guard. So that one was etched in the memory. Didn't make the NCAA tournament. A lot of pain, and so I think a lot of people see the success we've had these past couple of years, but it was really etched and rooted in a whole lot of frustration. Sophomore year, we lost in the Sweet 16 to a really good Swarthmore team, and again, that box score was on my wall for a long time.
It was also by 1, right?
What's that?
That was also by 1.
Yes, we actually, yeah, yep. Again, so again, a lot of pain. I had a shot to win it at the end of the game and went in and out. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't pretty, and I think Division III is special, especially this year, seeing so many fifth-year guys come back and knowing they don't get a scholarship, like knowing these guys had to find a way to make it work. I know for Fundy and I here at Macon, we were like working a job, taking 1 class here, 1 class there, like finding any way to be eligible and, not have to take a whole mortgage out on a house. So, just a ton of respect for these athletes that are doing it. And the tournament this year was an awesome accumulation of all that. They did a great job in Indiana this year.
Yeah, well, you're lucky after the early losses, Miles decided to join to take you.
He makes up for all our mistakes. If you make a mistake, he'll just block it. So
yeah.
And as we say here, luck, again, the one silver lining on COVID that you didn't have to play YU in the in the Sweet 16 round. It's sort of saved that continuous streak on both ends, I guess. But no, it's really awesome to hear sort of. Again, you guys talk about, I think there's the beautiful thing that we see is there's always a commonality, right, to the experience. One of those commonalities being just the fan bases, the enjoyment, the fans back in the stands. I think, Miles, you talked about, the seniors on the team. Buzz, I think I heard you talking about on Hoopsville a little bit earlier about the, not just the seniors, but the guys from the past couple of years, right? Those guys who didn't get to finish out their seasons the years before, and what it meant to them to see and feel like being part of that. That's, kind of a tremendous thing. I think, one of the things that we wanted to jump into a little bit, if it's okay, and Jake, if it's not too recent, but I mean, listen, you guys were on a ridiculous run, yourselves. I think the tournament really didn't let anybody down in terms of its performance. Obviously, wins and losses, right? Are somewhat, in the controls of the players and things that go on. But the tournament was incredible from a fan experience, from whether a fan of a team or just a fan of basketball. Talk to us about like what the Final Four was like, right? What that experience was like, in Fort Wayne, because it just felt incredible.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was experience that I don't think anyone in any of the 4 teams will forget. A lot of distractions as well. We were, as a team and like the staff, tried to make sure we still had our head on straight and were there to compete for a national championship. But definitely, I mean, just to sum it up, really just experience. I think I can speak for other guys that were there as well. I don't think any of them, no matter the result, will forget that experience at all.
Did everyone get their Bob Quillman picture in? Did he chase down? He made sure to chase down everybody.
He sadly did not get a picture with me, and I saw him a few times, so I might. It's kind of tough.
Shots fired. I'm gonna figure this out.
Bob was salty about the CCIW. So, Buzz, to have that experience where like you went to the Sweet 16, 2019-20, and have it end, and then this one there wasn't really a close game. You guys didn't have one close game in the tournament. What was that like?
Well, I'll start with that. My junior year, the 2020, I will say I was happy that we were hosting and we weren't the ones who took the bus and then heard the news. That definitely sucks for you guys, Ryan. And so I know I joked with guys of like, they were talking about Indiana. We had a couple local reporters, and I was like, I just hope it happens. I don't know if like a freak snowstorm was gonna happen. I didn't have full faith that it would truly happen until it did. And so we got there, and I think it almost feels like accumulation of the years and the work, more of like a fulfillment part of that, and less maybe March Madness excitement, because we didn't have any buzzer beaters or any super close games. So I think it was cool being more mature, being a fifth year. I think I really soaked in like all the years and the preparation a little more than just crazy run, to answer your question.
We had a question for you, Buzz. Did you join the Yellow Jackets because your nickname was Buzz, or did you get the nickname Buzz because you joined the Yellow Jackets?
No, it just it happened. It happened that way. Fun fact though, one football game my freshman year, I did dress up as the mascot. So Buzz was Buzz one day. So that's
very meta. I don't know if I can handle that. It's like a lot.
It's extremely hot. If you ever dress up as a mascot, like I don't recommend it. I was not ready for the temperature increase when you're inside of a mascot.
Did that once in high school. It is make sure that you have a halftime or quarter break planned, because it can get very hot very quickly.
Yeah.
And also, if anybody's moving and you get knocked over, unfortunately, it's a little tougher to get up. But it's a fun experience. Everyone should have a mascot experience that they enjoy. I want to talk about the important things here. Who still has a bracket that's not busted? I mean, I'm just going to go out and assume that everybody is participating in some D1 madness too. Is anybody looking hopeful? Still, anybody still alive? I see a lot of head shaking.
If anybody had St. Peter's beating Kentucky,
well, that's yeah. I don't think unless you're a St. Peter's fan. I think actually I want to say the governor of New Jersey had it on his bracket. I'm not sure what the rest of the bracket looks like, but constitutionally he's obligated to pick St. Peter's or any Jersey school that was there. He may have had Seton Hall too, so who knows?
I think his bracket might be the only one that's right now at this point.
But that's the fun. I mean, like this the season. Obviously, March Madness is March Madness, and it goes across all levels. It goes across all levels. It goes across the men's and women's game, and it's just incredible to watch. For you guys, does it live up to the hype? Do you we always wonder, I think, as as fans, right? As players, but now as fans this season, do you watch basketball games as a fan or as a player? Right? You sort of like wonder what the scout was when you sort of see the games going on, or how does it affect? I know, Buzz, you talk about being, coaches. I don't know how many, people are coaches' sons or watching this, basketball for a while, but how do you guys watch? We'll just wonder how that comes out. Like, can you just sit back and watch as a fan, playing as much as you guys have and knowing as much as you know? What do you got, Matt?
I think that's impossible, honestly. I mean, you watch the game and it's just like you think about what people are thinking in certain situations, what coaches are thinking. I think in the NBA level, it's a little easier to watch as a fan just because those guys are on a different level. They play a different sport than the rest of us. They're incredible. But on the college level, definitely just watching games these past 4 days, you watch it and you think about, what would you be doing in those situations? What are they doing in those situations? I think I think that'll probably be that way for the rest of my life. I'll watch it, as a player more than as a fan.
You guys have similar miles as that. Do you get to watch enough other basketball?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with Matt on this one. I can't. Anytime I'm watching these last tournament games, I'm just thinking about like what was the scout defensively, especially not necessarily offensively. I don't really know all that stuff, but defensively, I always think about like, why aren't we shrinking the floor, or why are we doing this, or something like that. So yeah, I'm with Matt. Yeah.
I will say I don't think about the defensive scout quite as much, but I support that.
Everybody being true to their true to what they do on the court. It's beautiful.
Miles' favorite play of the season was a chase down block. Just to give you an idea of where his head's at. His defense all day.
But does that ruin it for you? Couldn't be me. Jake, Ryan, what would you guys? Does that ruin it for you if you guys are just sort of like? Do you miss that? Like, do you miss that purity of just watching it as a fan, or is it like, no, it's like, no, I'm on a different level now.
I would say for me, it's kind of agreeing with Matt. It's tough, like seeing, just like knowing the game, like we all do. Seeing a guy that just hit 2-3 shots in a row, like how do we let that, like the team you want to win or whatever, how do you let him get an open look again or something like that? It definitely can drive you a little crazy, that's for sure.
Are there ever times you guys like see something either NBA or higher levels of college and like think like, oh, this could be good in our system, and like bring it to your coach?
Absolutely. For me personally, if I've seen a play or something like that out of whatever it is, even just up the court or sideline out of bounds, and I think it could potentially fit our team, I'll literally video it, send it to coach, or he'll do the same, whether it's like defensive principles, this is what we're trying to accomplish. They'll send us something and it kind of goes back and forth.
Buzz, I saw you want what do you have to say on the matter, Buzz? I feel like we do that all day.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's, like, especially D3 hoops, like, I feel like being a fifth year and getting into, Division 3 hoops, my Division 1 bracket sucked this year. I feel like mostly because all the games I watched this year were Division 3. I probably watched twice, 3 times, 4 times as many games as I did Division 1. So even looking at teams where I was like, I could see them making it through the tournament. Like if we played them, coaches probably got annoyed with me just sending, like Jake was saying, just sending stuff. Maybe we could do this, and it turned out Coach Merkel would joke that, you get to the end of practices too, like your practices in February, like you're not doing a lot. So you're doing like situational stuff. And we didn't really get to end up using any of those situation stuff. So, but
that's a good thing. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Buzz, cool. That's twice now. I mean, cool it with that. I'm happy for you too.
I know. I feel like we're about to get into like the average margin of victory, conversation. But the funny thing is, it's true. I mean, we were talking with the folks at D3 Hoops, and a couple of years ago, we saw Pomona Pitzer had an amazing play at the end of a 3 in the corner that they orchestrated at the end of the buzzer to get into the tournament. And we saw 3 or 4 games this year where that play was copied. It worked, I think, 2 times in the same end of game situation, unreal plays. But again, that's what happens. You sort of put it out there, put it in your system, it gets there, and then people start working on it and see what ends up working. So again, now you get to save it for Miles gets to save those plays going forward.
Yeah.
We wanted to talk about for you guys, and this maybe Matt, this is where we'll circle back around. But what's next, right? You started talking about sort of for you guys. Miles, you have as a junior and probably even a COVID year, you may have a couple of years thinking about what's next as part of RMC. But for the other guys, when you think about what's next, what are some of the things sort of bouncing around your heads right now? Buzz, I just heard you talk about on Hoopsville, maybe there's some global travel in your future.
Yeah, just hoping to keep playing. I want to get into coaching. That's kind of the dream. I think it's such a cool opportunity to be able to impact people at ages 18 to 22 and grow young men. So that's the goal. But right now, recently got married. We love traveling, so that's one thing, yeah. So that's one thing. I want to kind of travel around, and if basketball kind of lets us do that, then that would be super cool.
I'm gonna put in a plug for the awesome Israel hoops that's out there. I know we got a couple. I think Di Bartolomo. I know Simcha Halper from the YU team is out there. We got a couple of ballers out there in Israel. There's some good ball going out there. As you're looking. There may not be a nicer country to live in. So as you're looking, just throwing that out there in the in the exploration. Ryan, do you have any thoughts on that you want to plug as well?
Yeah, no, Israel's where it's at, man. This was a good time. Definitely recommend it.
Great food. I mean, even if the ball doesn't work. Food is unreal, and the weather.
Food and weather.
Mediterranean.
Is, unbeatable.
Cool, Jake. What do you got? What do you got on your mind?
Kind of like Buzz was saying, I'm sure other guys in here too, definitely open to keep playing. I'm finishing my master's at the end of the spring, so I'm applying for jobs and just really keeping all my options open.
For the folks out there, luckily a Jewish heavy podcast, again, a lot of business connections that we could get. What major? What do we got there going? Where are you looking to?
Something within sales. I'm getting my master's in business administration. So
very cool. I know that people are scurrying and fleeing New York City around where I am as we speak. So hopefully the remote work will keep going, but the comedy will pick up and there'll be a lot out there. Matt, we have a grad school opportunity that we'd like to offer you, but what's going on in your near future?
Yeah, so I'm going to be playing another year of basketball. I'm not really sure where that's going to be. I will say that if I go anywhere in D3, there's a 100% chance it'll be at Emory. So I'll be, if I'm staying.
So
D3,
you're saying there's a chance. No.
Yeah. So no, there's definitely a chance. Emory's definitely on the table. But you have been speaking to some coaches over the past couple weeks, trying to find some opportunities that would be good for me for next year at the Division I or Division II level. But Emory's definitely on the table as well. But after the COVID year, I kind of thought this would be my last year, but I'm having way too much fun playing basketball to give it up now. And so I'm gonna keep doing it, and we'll see how that goes after that. It should be fun wherever I end up.
The development sort of, I know that sort of of the folks on this panel, I think the year over year sort of growth, definitely statistically, but also just did that have something to do with it in terms of sort of growing, or was that always sort of right as like the COVID year hit, you started thinking about that more and more, or was this season in particular sort of really fueled that for you?
Right. So this COVID year, I got Nick Stuck, one of my closest friends, to come back and play with me. Roman Williams, who's been with us since freshman year, to come back. So I kind of thought this would be the three of us last time playing together, last time playing at Emory, and that would be really special, and it was. But with the year that I had, and now there's some new opportunities for me to maybe play at a higher level, and even coming back to Emory, just it's been a great year, and I could probably speak for everyone on this panel saying that, but it's been an absolutely awesome year, and so I'm not quite ready to give it up and go into the working world yet. So it's an obvious choice for me to want to come back for another year.
That's awesome.
Man,
And Miles, I know,
you went from
Go ahead.
15 points a game, 2019-20. You take a year off, you come back, and you're averaging 24. Can you share the secrets of what you did during your year off to get that type of scoring spurt?
I think it's just during COVID, I kind of knew at Emory that we were not going to be playing basketball. It wasn't going to happen with how strict Emory was. So I started working on a lot of new things that I hadn't worked on in the past. Obviously, I tried to get some guys come back that didn't. Matt Dabbit was a big part of our offense. I couldn't get him to come back. Lawrence Rowley, massive part of our team, couldn't get him to come back. Luke Morrison, who went up to Calvin and had one of the best performances of the year at Platteville in the round of 32 this year. So without those guys coming back, there's a lot of shots up for grabs. There was a lot of guys on our team that played that had never put on an Emory uniform before. So that was a great journey for Roman, Stuck, and I being able to navigate that and be helpful to them through that. But obviously, worked on a lot of things that really paid off during the COVID year. So that's been great. It made playing basketball a lot of fun this year.
that's awesome. That's awesome, Miles. I wanted to ask, just because sort of you're not at that senior point, but did my understanding is that obviously the COVID year, right, impacts everyone from an eligibility standpoint. Does it change your thinking, or does it change your thinking going forward in terms of how you sort of navigate college? I mean, most folks here got this sort of news right in their senior year. You have the benefit of sort of having a little more time to think how it plays out. Like, are you starting to think about that yet, or just, hey, I'm just doing things the way I was going to, and it hasn't changed the thing?
Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do as far as the fifth year goes. Kind of just focused on this next year coming up. Yeah, man, I'm just trying to become more of a leader coming up. Losing Buzz and losing Fundy, and then losing Q and Ian, who are big parts of us. That's really where my focus is right now.
And losing Fundy's beard, by the way. I mean, someone has to pick that back up. That's probably the most slack.
I just want to point out, Miles, that Yeshiva has a very good grad program. So if you want to, hop on over.
We talked about some of that good stuff. I mean, I think it's just it's incredible. I think that coach might want to just let them know that you are coming back, so you can get the recruiting for those juniors that are out there now. They'll know who they're playing with in 2 years. But I think it's an incredible thing. I think it's amazing and also difficult. I think what you guys have all been through in terms of having to navigate, right, sort of something different, right? It's not just you go in, I'm going to play my 4 years and I'm done, and I hope we achieve success. And I think, obviously, what's going on around you in the country, notwithstanding in terms of how it impacted everyone else, it's just really you guys have had to deal with different things, stoppage and starting, and you guys are just incredible examples to both your teammates, but also the rest of the D3 and really the whole basketball world about sort of how to navigate these things just with grace and with being leaders. So we appreciate that. I think as we close out this segment, Ryan, we're gonna keep you on for the next segment. We appreciate you jumping in early. We got Marcus A's here
before
and a couple guys, but Shua, you close it out for us.
Well, I have one question I've wanted to ask Buzz for a while, ever since I saw his academic All-American. He's a math major. Are you into like analytics, and does that play a role at all at Randolph-Macon?
Good question. So math major, why I did it was I didn't like writing papers. So math kind of came easier in college. So I thought I would go with that route, but ends up my senior year, I ended up having to write 3 math papers, which I didn't even know a math paper was a thing.
It's probably worse than a regular paper.
Yeah, so you can't escape papers in college any way you go. We do have a senior year project. So I did like analytics, kind of what the Massey ratings are. I stripped all these D3 stats from the 1920 year, and I used a prediction formula. And so I took the Sweet 16 games and I predicted all the way throughout. So I did like a whole presentation, kind of used the 4 factors that Ken Palm uses, if you're familiar with that. And
the Dean Oliver legend.
Yeah, I predicted a champion.
Was it Randolph-Macon by any chance?
It was the defense. The defense played through in the numbers. It would have been us and St. Thomas in my senior capstone. Would have been national championship game.
They're doing like decently at the Division 1 level, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
This-
That's very cool.
Remember, we got the big question that we're going to ask both yourselves and the other panel. But honest, you guys, like I said, you guys have basketball knowledge, deep basketball knowledge, right? You talked about watching games as players or coaches rather than fans. Talk about like we just wanted like honest assessment. First team All-American, second team All-American is now a squad in D1, right? Talk to us about your chances. Talk to us about sort of we're throwing you, let's say, let's put you in the America East. Let's put you in one of the mid majors somewhere. Talk to us about like basketball as it translates versus what you see in sort of D1 and how that would play out. I think, our fans have been asking us. That's one of the questions that popped up on Twitter all day.
I think with Buzz's math skills and coaching, I think we have a solid chance.
Yeah, I mean, with the Jewish dream, you're probably feeling pretty confident on the court.
No,
Look,
yeah,
you guys, nobody was thinking a D3 Hoops Player of the Year is a nerd. Are you kidding me? That's what I was thinking the whole time that he was talking. Come on.
I love it.
This is coming from a UAA guy. I thought that's
That's true. That's true. That's fair. That's fair.
No, but I mean, to answer some of your question, I know we got an exhibition against Richmond and against Maryland in my career. So we've played 2D1s. I don't know how these other guys have had experience with that, but in both cases, I would say defensively, we're big on defense, but like defensively, there was probably more space on the court to like, operate it and get the shots we want. Guys were just more athletic and could close out at a ridiculous fashion. Like when I played Maryland, my freshman year, I played better in that game than when I did against CNU for our home opener. I think Division III, you have to be so much more disciplined and so much more tighter to your schemes because you don't have the athleticism to make up for it. So I would say it would be really interesting when you take the highest level of skill in Division III and you put it to the test. So I think the Tommies were kind of a cool example. A lot of people followed them.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
we're starting a rec league team, man.
Well, I said with the majors that we got here, we're probably starting a Chelsea Piers or business league. We can get people out. I know Gabe's already in it. He's got to go, and he's been talking with Pete, right, about we got to get some more lockdown defenders out here.
Yeah,
we know on the comments, Bob and Matt says you guys would win more than half the leagues in D1. So you definitely got a vote of confidence out from the fan base out here. So we really appreciate you guys. It's been an unbelievable privilege being able to sort of take on this journey of this season and the seasons before, and we're looking forward to following you guys and following your path as we go. You guys are welcome. Like I said, we are not we're not a formal show. You're welcome to stick around. We're gonna bring on now Marcus Azer and Matt Leyritz, who are hanging out with us here in the I believe Shua, who else we got? We got one more that's coming on.
Yeah, we got Jack Davidson.
Jack Davidson, of course. Could not forget Jack Davidson. I forgot if Jack was going to come or if Eric was going to show up instead. We didn't know, so we'll figure it out. We don't have to kick anyone out of the building here, so we'll be making it go. But guys, thank you guys so much for the time. Like I said, feel free to hang out. But also, we know you guys got busy schedules, and again, congratulations, guys, on a great season. But even more so, congratulations on being incredible role models to your fan bases and to everybody in the D3 community. And we can't thank you guys enough. Peace. Enjoy the rest of.
Thank you for having us. I appreciate it. Hey,
Yeah.
congratulations, guys. Great year from everyone here. Congrats.
Yeah, thanks for having
Awesome.
us.
Yeah,
Thank you, guys. Awesome season, everyone.
Oh, Jack Davidson's getting on. I got to get off now.
So Matt,
We want to talk about that Emory Wabash game. I mean, come on.
All right, I'll take a couple minutes if we want to talk about that. Oh God.
You got to, that was one of the. I mean, it was just. I'm sorry you guys have to play it. It's fun we get to watch it, but it was amazing. Back and forth, baby.
Yeah, no, Wabash is a hell of a team, really well coached. Obviously, Jack hit some incredible shots during that game. It was a challenge to guard him.
the whole night. You know, I was one away from sending them home and winning that one in our place, but yeah, it was a great game. It was a lot of fun to play in.
It was a lot of fun to watch as well.
Yeah, I mean that game was insane. Matt put a triple double on us, so we had our hands full with him. And man, that last 7 seconds of the game, I was just holding my breath, hoping they wouldn't put it in. But we escaped, but it could have gone either way for sure.
I heard you guys love those ODAC refs that you had.
No comment from Matt Schneier on that.
I don't want to get into the ref talk because I know we might get some comments from the IW Wabash game. Maybe they just followed you guys around. I don't know what's what's going on, but we love the refs here. We don't talk about refs. We again, I think we may have some future, who knows, future refs among the crew, and we'll figure it all out. If not, future coaches. We don't want to make any disparaging remarks as we go through. But welcome to Jack Davidson, to Matt Layritz, and to Marcus Azer. Thank you guys so much for joining us here. I'm gonna, unfortunately, we can't just chat before we sing your praises. We have a D3 audience here who's relative newbies. So I'm gonna turn it over to my man Shua, who's gonna talk a little bit about you and embarrass you while you sit on here by singing your praises, showing some of the highlights. So go ahead, Shua, kick us off.
I'll start. I didn't get to talk about Buzz, but Buzz had so many accolades that if I read them all, it would take up the entire show. So I cut them down to a couple. But he's obviously the D3 Hoops National Player of the Year. He's a 2-time first-team All-American, 4-time ODAC Player of the Year, 2-time Academic All-American, which is my favorite part. He's third in program history in points, first in steals, first in assists. Randolph-Macon has a 117-14 record since Buzz has got here. So just an incredible career, and what a dynasty he created at Randolph-Macon during his years there. We got Jack Davidson, who I feel like if he had another year of eligibility, he'd get 3,500 points. He scored 2,464 in his career. This year, he was 26, 6, and 4 on 54, 49, 91 shooting. Just an absolutely unreal season. He has all-time record in points at Wabash, and also, I think, all-time record in assists as well. 377. I think I read that.
I don't think I have that record, but that's or SID for that one.
I might. Okay. You're a 3-time academic All-American, and among many other accolades, obviously the first-team All-American this season, along with some form of a weird snub of the third team in ABC. We don't understand that. You probably don't either. Believe it. We got Marcus Azor, who's also just incredible stats. He led his team in all 5 major categories. Reminds me of LeBron James in the 2016 finals. 17.8 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, 2.5 steals, 1.5 blocks. Had 5 triple doubles on the season. Just a force in every area of the game, and a lot of fun to watch. Some of his dunks, I believe, are the best dunks in D3. We got Matt Layritz, our player from our second favorite team outside of Yeshiva. He's also 2-time academic All-American, 2-time first-team All-American, finalist for both Jostens and Bevo Francis, which he shares with Jack Davidson, as well as Buzz Anthony and Ryan. And Mark, who am I missing? And yeah, Matt, Jack, Buzz, Ryan, I think are all finalists for both. He averaged 18, 9.5, 2.5 assists. He shot 44% from 3 as a big man who can dominate in the post, which is incredible. He broke Jack Sigma's single game IW record for rebounds in a game on December 30th in New York.
I remember that. I don't know what. I think I was around somewhere for that.
I was watching that game.
Yeah, I really don't think 25 is accurate. I don't know who was keeping stats, but I'll take what I can get.
I don't know. I was just counting the amount of rebounds why you didn't get. I wasn't counting the amount of rebounds IW did.
Ouch. I thought we were staying positive from now on, Shua. Come on.
That's true. Sorry, Bob.
Too soon, man. Too soon.
Too soon. Way too soon.
Come on, we were ripping Jake Brody about that championship. This was last year already. This game, you guys got to get over it. So really, everybody's stat line is just incredible, and it's really awesome to have you guys all on and get to meet you and hear about you guys. Didn't get to introduce Ryan. Ryan, all we need to say is he just declared for the draft. So I don't know how much more we need to say about what Ryan did in his D3 Hoops career. But he does have the all-time record for points in yeshiva history. He has a 5th year of eligibility. If he actually decided to use it, he would break the all-time D3 points record, in my opinion. I think Bob Coleman did the math, and it makes sense. And Ryan actually just changed our program. Our program went from something that was not relevant nationally to a program that was very relevant nationally. And a lot of that is thanks to Ryan deciding to make the commitment. So we're obviously all very thankful for that. But anyway, enough about Ryan. Thank you guys all for joining. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it, guys. Really, it's tremendous. I think it's, it's part of the, we don't want this to end. I'm not sure how you guys feel about this season, but we definitely don't want this to end. And I think in the minds of the fans and others, there really is something to this, right? Meaning the fact that, the season stopped, right, and had to pick up, right, for those who were here 2 years ago, whatever state they were at, right before the Sweet 16 of the tournament. This is just, right, something that people have been waiting for, starved for, and didn't disappoint. As we sort of talked all the way through. So we wanted to start out, and we talked with the group before, but we really want to hear your perspective, right? Sort of your D3 story, and talk a little bit about sort of that last 2 years and how it culminated into this year. I don't know if who wants to start us to get going, but appreciate it. I don't know if Marcus, you want to jump in a little bit here, and then we'll kick it off and go around. Just talk to us about why D3 for you, right? Sort of like how you ended up here. And sort of what the experience has been like.
Yeah, I'll start off. I'd like to say thank you guys for having me be on the show.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah. Coming out of high school, I was a late bloomer, so I only had three schools reaching out to me. I took a visit to each one, and then Dartmouth, Coach Babb, he seen the potential he had in me. He had plans for me, and then the community just felt like home, so I just went with that school and made a new family.
And it felt right from day one for you. Like it really was like a smooth. I mean, obviously, the last this year has been incredible in terms of the run you guys have been on, and being able to get to where you did. But is this your fan base and everything? It was new right away. It was the right choice.
Yeah, starting from the first year on, just being able to grow as a person and a man, just like the best 4 years of my life, and I really enjoyed it there.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Does he have an extra year that he wants to come play?
Yeah, we're gonna pitch you on the Yeshiva grad school. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that soon.
Was that not yet? Did I jump the gun on that?
Yeah, you're a little early. I gotta set the stage. We got Cardozo. We got all sorts of things that are law, finance. We gotta learn more about them, Brian, before we start to make the pitch. We gotta customize it to each player.
My fault.
It's all good. It's all good. By the way, if you want to come, we have the a great high school tournament next week. If anybody wants to come down, starting actually was it this Thursday? So we'll have some basketball going on at the Max Stern. Don't worry, Matt. It'll be 70% capacity, so nobody has to worry, about any health concerns.
You know what that means in the MSAC, Matt. So
yeah, of course, yeah, 70% capacity.
70% capacity, which means people will only be sitting on each other in every other chair. So it works out.
Yeah, sitting along the baselines, walking across half court during warm-ups. Sure.
The fans like to get up close and personal. We appreciate it. So Jack, talk to us a little bit about your D3 journey. And we know there's obviously some basketball that runs in the family as well. So talk to us about sort of how you ended up at Wabash and what that was like for you.
Yeah, for me, coming out of high school, no, I wasn't like an elite player by any means. I was more like a spot-up shooter. But Coach Brummett and Coach Sullivan believed in me from the start. They recruited me harder than anybody else. And for me, like Division III, I wanted to get a really good education along with playing basketball. And Wabash gave me that opportunity. And I've enjoyed every minute of it for sure. But yeah, for me, it was just about getting a great education while still being able to play the game I love. So that's what I did.
And looking at Jack's stats, they were the only ones that were similar level of volume and efficiency to Ryan's on the season. So incredible shooter. I think Ryan was 58, 48, 75, and Jack's 54, 49, and 91. Shooting.
He killed me on the free throws, man.
By the way, the free throws, I heard, I mean, I probably should have known this, but I think I heard it on the call during the IW game about how many did you hit in a row? I think it was sophomore year. Is that the record that exists right now? And how was like 95 in a row or something like that?
Yeah, it was 95.
That is
a lot.
Ryan, we can get in the gym.
I think my record is 5 this year, so
we'll get in the gym this summer and work on the free throws.
I appreciate it. I need it.
Cool. And Matt, talk to us about from your perspective. Obviously, a lot of history, also, right? I mean, coming into IW, again, a lot of these guys, we talked to. Obviously, the program, right, is almost there before you get there, right? So, talk to us about sort of what that was like, why you chose Illinois Wesleyan, and sort of what that experience was like.
Yeah, of course. So, pretty early on in my recruiting process, I guess like summer going into my senior year of high school, I think I kind of came to the conclusion that like the environment of higher level Division III is what like the type of college basketball that would suit me best, and that I would feel most comfortable playing in. And then I took a visit to a bunch of schools, but after going to a couple IWU games, taking a couple of visits, getting to meet the guys, coaching staff, really getting like a feel for the culture, feel for Bloomington, and everything that they're about. Just felt like a great fit, and it obviously worked out. I mean, I only have good things to say about the school, about the program, coaches. I've gotten the chance to play with like a great group of guys over the past 4 years. So yeah, it was just like a perfect 4 years. Couldn't have asked for anything better.
Is the highlight of your experience shopping at a Jewish grocery store in Teaneck, New Jersey?
That has to be up there. Well, that made us feel like rock stars. Well, the best experience, no doubt, was playing at Yeshiva. There's nothing that compares to that throughout my basketball career. Like hands down, the best. But yeah, that whole experience was awesome because we were walking down the aisles, like in our practice jerseys, like right after a shoot around, all sweaty. And people are like taking pictures of us. And they're coming up to us saying like, "Oh, are you Illinois Wesleyan? My husband's getting off work early to go to the game," and stuff like that. We're like, what is going on here?
Yeah, and then you showed up and getting off the bus, probably saw. I mean, I think I may have been inside at the time already, but I heard there were lines back to like 2-3 blocks down. Past the library, past everything. I mean, it's something like we've never seen at Yeshiva before. So it wasn't all about Illinois Wesleyan. I think it was a little bit about the Yeshiva team too, but it was tremendous. Again, tongue in cheek, obviously.
Yeah, it made us feel a lot more special and important than I think we actually are. So as D3 athletes, a little bit of that might be needed.
To the certain kids, that's what you are. You guys are that special, and that's what's so meaningful about it.
And Ryan, we've heard. Well, we've heard your story, but I think it's important, again, to share, with these guys a little bit in terms of, they may have seen some of this. You guys have talked, but just wanted to ask you, has everything you thought it was going to be, is it like sort of you had that idea, like what were you imagining 4 years ago?
I didn't think we'd get the press that we got. That was kind of really cool. The ultimate goal was to win a national championship, so didn't get to do that. But the fan support and the support around the community has just been insane and incredible, and an experience that not a lot of people get to get, and one that I'll have with me for the rest of my life. So I appreciate Max Nation for that.
Jack, awesome. From what I've seen on Twitter, you played at a college with a similar type of rabid fan base and support. Talk a little bit about that, and talk about like the most charged environment you've been in D3, that like the most exciting environment.
Yeah, our fan base is incredible. There's no other way to put it. I mean, most of all our home games are packed. We went on the road to Atlanta for the first round of the tournament at Emory, which is like 9 hours from our campus. And it felt like we were playing a home game, both games. Our fans travel incredibly well. The game at Illinois Wesleyan, we went toe-to-toe with their fans. I mean, I think it was a great atmosphere to play in. That was probably one of the best atmospheres I played in college for sure. So it's been incredible to play for the Wabash fans. We have a great alumni base, great students that show out, and it's been a ton of fun. A lot of credit to them.
Yeah, it was awesome to see. Of course, you have your number one supporter, Eric, who managed to get himself kicked out of the Williams game, but I think he was the biggest advocate of any player on D3 I've seen on Twitter by far. Like, he gets that award.
Yeah, he loves using Twitter, and he can get a little out of hand at times, but he's an interesting account to follow. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that, because again, this is an experience, again, that I think is sometimes different than D1, obviously, with where it goes. But talk to us guys about family, right? And sort of the support that you have from families, whether it's the ability to have your own families around during the season, or sort of adopted families who may be in the area if you are going to college a little further away from home. Talk to us about that experience, right? How that's been and how you felt that support, not just of the fan base, broadly, but also of the parents of players and the families of players, through the season, what that's like. No one just jump in, Jack.
Personally, like, my family is unbelievably supportive. Like, my mom and dad didn't miss a game this year. So it's amazing. And obviously my brother, he can be obnoxious on Twitter sometimes, but he's like my biggest supporter. And I love him to death. So and my girlfriend Ann too. So I've had a great support system. So many people reaching out throughout the year, throughout our run to the Final Four. So I'm just so grateful for that. And big shout out to my family, who almost never misses a game. So just wanted to say that.
Marcus, how about you?
Yeah, we had a great fan base at our school. All the athletics teams support each other. They're always front row. My family tries to make it to as much games as possible. And I know, like, if they don't make it, they're always watching me. After the games, I'll look at my phone and there's texts on mistakes I had. Good dunk.
just like family, right? Again, tough love, right?
Yeah, tough love, but they're my number one fans and supporters. And just like everyone in school, like, we have probably had like the lowest 1,100 fans at a home game. So it was just a great environment.
That's awesome.
That's unreal. Matt, for you guys, I know you guys traveled well, as we saw, even to New York, which was a special trip. But definitely a full gym we used to see at IW, and that's a tough place to fill up. So what was it like in terms of the support, the games at IW? Is that, how does that compare? How does that experience?
Yeah, well, Illinois is definitely a basketball state. So, like, outside of our school, obviously most games we get a solid student section, except for when we played Wabash. Unfortunately, we were on spring break. So they kind of got the leg up on us there. But like from the student section to like IWU alums around town, or just like people that live in the Bloomington area show out to every game on a weekly basis, whether it's a Wednesday night, Saturday night game. It seems like they're always there. And even when we travel within the conference, it seems like there's always green in the crowd, no matter where we are. So yeah, big shout out to our fan base. They were awesome throughout the 4 years. Yeah, and the Titan parents definitely travel well. No doubt about that. They're loud. They're loud and proud.
Loud and proud. Some of the nicest people I've ever met. And speaking of loud and proud, Ryan, is Mama Terrell, like, does she have to clear like NBA? Like how does it work in this whole thing? I feel like every team should be recruiting your mother.
Yeah,
for the fan base.
I think why you hired her as the mascot permanently, so she may be at every home game there next year. No, but my parents have been, and brother has been at pretty much all of my games, and my mom will be starting to chant on one end and my brother's doing the worm on the other. So that kind of support is just amazing. And then my dad's always sitting there, anxiously quiet, pulling his hair out when I miss those free throws. And but having that support there is just amazing. And I love my family for it, and it's just awesome.
It's incredible to watch. So let's talk a little bit about plans for next year, future. Start with Marcus. Marcus, you thinking trying to play more, use another year of eligibility, enter your career?
Yeshiva commit.
Unfortunately, after playing in that All-Star game, I did sign my I did forgave my last year of eligibility. Some it was a hard decision thinking about what to do, but some opportunities were presented to me, and I think I want to pursue them. I love everyone that at UMass Dartmouth, nothing but love. Everyone supports what I'm about to do next.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We're gonna wait to hear. I don't know if you're allowed to talk about it, but we'll wait to hear about sort of what's next. But wanted to talk a little bit as you think about what's next. Talk about that All-Star game. I think I'm not sure if there was anybody else. Matt, I don't know if you were in that. I think, but talk about the All-Star game that took place there, because that was, unfortunately, many Yeshiva fans, with Sabbath observance, we couldn't watch a lot of what went on and during the Final Four weekend. We watched most of it on tape. But the Final Four, what kind of the All-Star game? What kind of experience was that?
And that was a great experience. Being from like New England playing basketball, I don't get to see those other guys in other parts of the country. So it was a lot of fun playing with the great talent. And also it was just hard watching the Final Four because, Randolph beat us, but it was good, high level basketball to watch. Like definitely a great time. Made new connections with coaches and players. Hopefully that'll last a lifetime. That's pretty good. That's all it.
Yeah, don't feel bad. Randolph beat everybody. So that just turned out that way this year. What about you, Jack? What do you got going on?
Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm going to try and pursue a professional career overseas. So that process kind of starts now with getting the right agent and stuff like that. But that's my plan.
As we did with the segment before with the other group, I will be remiss if I don't mention that Israel is a basketball mecca and a wonderful place to play. But honestly, you won't find a more welcoming country and just an incredible the food there, the weather, everything you could possibly want. It's a great place from a family perspective. But yeah, it's just a tremendous thing. So that'd be my pitch out. It is overseas, maybe different seas. But definitely keep that on the radar, and if we can help in any way, we can definitely connect you out with some folks out there.
I'll keep that in mind. Appreciate it.
No worries. And Matt, so which of our grad schools are you going to be taking advantage of this this next season?
That's actually really funny that you say that, because I'm not kidding. Minutes after the final buzzer went off when we were playing at Yeshiva, I had like 4 people come up to me. I know they were joking, but they told me about how great the MBA program is at Yeshiva. So here we are. But right now I have my name in the transfer portal. Illinois Wesleyan doesn't have graduate programs. And so with it being Division III, there's no athletic scholarships. So financially and for the sake of my own career, like professional career after basketball, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to stay. And so we didn't have any 5th years come back for this season. Our seniors graduated last year, and my Coach Rose, is completely on board with helping me throughout the process. So at this point in time, I am trying to get a scholarship and work towards an MBA degree.
That's awesome. What area in your MBA are you focusing on?
I haven't really thought that far ahead. It kind of depends what schools end up offering me.
What school? Yep.
Yeah, and then I can look at the programs from there. But I really haven't gotten to that point yet.
Very cool. No, we wish you a lot of luck, and honestly.
Are you interested?
Thank you.
Matt, like what type of career is like your primary interest?
Management consulting.
Cool. Yeah. Work for a Big Four.
Mm-hmm.
We know some people around there. Ryan, we've all heard, sort of some rumors about what you're going to be doing, and we know what you're going to be successful at. Talk a little bit about like what that process is like, or whatever you can share. Obviously, it's not a hop, skip, and a jump, right? It's not a straight path that goes there. What are the next couple of months, 6 months, a year sort of have in store for you?
Yeah, obviously I got to finish school online, but just trying to take it day by day and train every day, all day, as much as possible, and really try to get ready and keep on getting better every day.
So you able to do that? Are you in New York still? Or are you?
So I'm in Los Angeles now. I will be back for the Sarachek tournament because you can't miss that. You guys are all
Valley Torah, number two seed.
They got snubbed, man. VT should be a 1 seed, but let's not talk about that. They're gonna win the tournament. I'm calling it here. Yeah, I'm heading back out to New York for that tournament, and then coming back here and just preparing.
I know we heard collectively on the last group, the important thing, you guys are obviously basketball players, but also fans of the game, right? In some ways, students of the game. We had a little bit of this conversation before. Just interested to see, first of all, does anybody still have a bracket in play in the D1 March Madness pool? And if you are, how do I get you to make my picks in the coming years? But also, as you sort of mentioned that, like, do you guys watch basketball, and can you watch it from a fan perspective, or are you really just watching it like you watch it and you wonder, whether it's the scout or other things, or from a coach's or player's perspective? How do you watch basketball? How does that show up as a fan for you, Marcus? Is that something you can still do in sort of the way you used to do it maybe 10 years ago?
Nah, I definitely can't. Like during the summer, I'll be coaching clinics, and then I'd be wanting to step on the court with the kids. So it's just hard for me to watch it. Like watching that from the side, I just think of it from a player's perspective on like what I would do if I was in that position and stuff. It's not going to be normal again.
It's the new normal.
Yeah, normal.
Is it better or worse?
It's just something I got adjusted to. I would just say
different.
For the better, it keeps my competitive edge. Keeps me very competitive. So.
What about you guys? What about you, Jack, Matt?
Yeah, for me, I mean, I'm a basketball junkie, so I watch it all the time. I found myself watching more D3 games than anything this year. And I was watching Ryan a bunch, watched the Yeshiva Iwu game. So I feel like I was watching more D3 games than anything. But just in general, I just love watching. I'll find myself like sending plays to my coaches and stuff like that when I'm watching. And yeah, I'm always breaking it down and trying to take some moves from like elite guys in the NBA and stuff like that. But overall, I just love watching basketball.
Which team would you say you send the most plays from to your coach? Golden State?
Well, I definitely try. I definitely watch Steph a lot, just to emulate him, like personally. But team wise, I don't know. It just kind of depends. I'll see a bunch of different sets on Twitter or just watching a game, and I'll try to get them clipped up and send them to him, and so we can run them. But no team like in particular that I can think of.
Yeah, your game looks a lot like Steph Curry, so it's you've done well. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, I'm definitely still a huge basketball fan. I live in an off-campus house with 6 other guys, all of whom were either basketball players or used to be basketball players. So it seems like every single night we're sitting down watching 2 or 3 games.
It's awesome. Nice. I always find it nice, right? Like, cause it's great. That's why I love living on the East Coast and then watching the West Coast games. Like once the East Coast basketball, I can sit and just tee up. All right, everything's just starting out there on the West Coast. So watching some of the West Coast conferences in D3 and some of the midnight games even in D1. The beautiful thing nowadays, at least, is pretty much turn on the TV anytime and you can you'll find a game to watch, right, or stream. It'll be on every time. So that's awesome. The Junkies definitely have their fix of basketball.
So, question we posed to the last group, but curious to also hear your guys' thought. If we created a team with the first team, second team All-Americans and put them in a mid-major conference D1, how do you guys think you'd do?
I think we'll win some of the conferences.
All right, they like it.
I'm with Marcus, man. There's a lot of talent in this room, so I'd feel pretty good with the guys we're rolling out there.
Yeah,
with it.
Let's just do it. I think I have to agree with that. I mean, just watching like St. Thomas this year and just seeing what they were able to do in the Summit League. Yeah, I feel like we'd have a decent shot.
Yeah, you'd have a ton of shooting from like every position on the court, and also some pretty good defense. And you have Marcus who will dunk on anybody in D1. Yeah, so I agree with you guys. You guys just have to all join the D3 TBT team, and then we'll get to see it.
That should work out well. As you guys think about some of the favorite sort of like, again, you talked about it before, and I think you guys, some of you experienced it, right? Some of you walked into legacies already, but some of them creating it as you go, right? You think about leaving places, right, better than when you found it. I think that's true in all your cases. What would you point out to as sort of like something that basically, how did you know, right? Like if you look back on the season, what's the memory that tells you, yeah, I left my impression, or I left my lasting mark. I did what I set out to do. Like how do you know when that moment, or you just you have to wait to see what happens later? Is there anything that happened this season to do that for you?
I'll start off. I want to say like from a few years ago, I want to say like my sophomore year, we made it to the championship, and unfortunately we lost to WestCon. And then the following year, we brought back the same guys, and then we ended up winning. We ended up having a season during COVID, played 10 games, and we won that conference championship. But we didn't have the NCAA tournament. So we brought in the same group of guys from that championship team, and we were just driven to make a run in the NCAA tournament that we didn't get the chance to have during that COVID year. And then that just helped fueled us for a tournament and made our Sweet 16 run.
Yeah, that was awesome. And obviously, it's too bad everyone ran into the same hustle that is Randolph-Macon this season.
Yeah, for me, like just something similar. Like Wabash hasn't had a whole lot of basketball success in the past. We hadn't won a conference tournament since 1998. I think it's 1998. We hadn't made the NCAA tournament since 1998. So it had been over 20 years. So when we won the conference championship and then made the NCAA tournament, and then the run we made on top of that was just icing on the cake. But most of all, like we had a senior-laden group, and just to do it and make that run with those guys has meant a lot.
That's awesome. What about you, Matt?
I would say just being able to get to the Elite Eight this year, and win our conference in back-to-back seasons. It's kind of stamped success on the career that me and my classmates have had at Wesleyan. When we our first 2 years as freshmen and sophomores, we were one of the last teams on the board. So we were bubble teams both years. Essentially, we missed the NCAA tournament by one game each year. And at Wesleyan, there's a ton of history. There's always expectations to make a run in the tournament. And this was the first time a deep run had been made since, I think, 2014, when they went to the Final Four. So in terms of really putting a stamp on the program, I would say getting back to the Elite Eight and getting back to advancing far into the tournament.
Yeah, I think it's, even though it's a distance between them, right? That's back-to-back years now, or back-to-back tournaments that the CCIW has had, right? Somebody in the finals of, or the Final Four of the tournament. So obviously a conference that is incredibly tough and that we've heard all about, right? Just the regular season play prepares, the teams for the tournament. You see that, year in, year out and making that run. Ryan, I know we've seen great things, obviously, in the Yeshiva program, things that we haven't seen sort of, for a long time or ever, right? As you talk about, similar to what Jack talked about, right? Like, the program historically being able to make it, you have that, a couple of years in a row in the tournament standpoint. What do you want to see out of this Yeshiva team going forward? What do you, what will make you and Gabe and Eitan and all the guys happy in terms of, knowing that you started something? What do you look for in continuing the program?
Just keep on getting better and keep Yeshiva in the national discussion. I know Simons is a great recruiter, and he's going to get guys. I just I hope to see a national championship for Yeshiva one day, and I think that day could be soon. But just keep on getting better and just have a great time.
Oh, it's awesome. I'll share personally, again, as a former MAC, and we sat there every year saying, let's get in the playoffs and make a run in the playoffs, right? In the sky, even just in the Skyline, right? And making the playoffs and having 10 years winning, 10 winning seasons in a row, it was huge, and we were proud. And I think, the pride only grows, right? So as you start to see, and we talked to the Ryan with Nabel out of Marietta, who said their team used to be in the bottom, right, of their conference. So seeing the growth that these programs can have and the success that having players like you guys, and continue the growth and continue the legacies and be able to build off it is huge. Ryan and Matt, will we see you guys in Bloomington, for for the game next year? We know it's a home and home series, right? So we got next year in November. I don't know if you guys, depending on, Matt, where and Ryan, where your next year's take you, maybe circle a date to come back, to watch that game.
Well, Matt's come to Yeshiva for grad school, so me and Matt will be in IWU wearing Yeshiva jerseys.
Yeah,
Switch.
I'm gonna do everything in my power to make it back for that game. I feel like it's gonna be just as rowdy as the Max Stern AC was. So yeah, I'm pumped for that game.
We are. We're hoping to arrange a road trip and get out there. We know again the Shirk is it's super. It's exciting. We can't. We're counting down the clocks already for that game. We listen. We really appreciate you guys. Shu, I don't know if we have anything else for these guys, but we can't say enough. Thank you guys for being giving of your time and just letting us come along for the ride for the season. Right, as fans of both D3, of the Max, of just the broader community. The one thing that we've been struck by, and we'll share with the crowd here watching, how open everybody has been, whether it's players, coaches, pundits, whatever it might be, in terms of saying, hey, do you want to answer a random DM from somebody you've never spoken to before and then show up on a podcast? It's like, yeah, sure. Whatever. What can we do? And it's been unreal. We have a special guest. I did tell him that we use the same link every time and he can jump anytime. We have one of the best guys that we could hope to have here, who's going to jump on right now.
Hey,
Ryan Scott,
Right.
from D3 Hoops.
I'm muted. Sorry. Hello.
The best interviewer of them all.
Yeah.
Who I got to share a press room with out at Stockton University.
That's right. I had to crash. I hadn't realized that the same. You guys will have to remember now. This same Zoom link works all the time for this. You can crash in whenever you want.
That's because
into
we want
this
everyone to come
podcast.
back. Don't give it away. I didn't tell Bob that. Now we're going to be inundated.
I had to crash before the season was up. It was. I have to just say thank you to all you guys. I wanted to pop in. I got to meet Matt and Ryan in person in December, and I got to see Jack and Marcus this weekend, and it was awesome. Also, we need to make sure we don't judge these guys by the people who pump them up on Twitter, because they are all respectable, very kind, nice people, and not what you might expect from all of the Twitter love that they get up there.
The Twitter lovers are also kind and respectable people. They're just very passionate.
Yes.
Passionate
Yes.
people. I know you're really just talking about Poppers. He's just way too excitable, and we gotta calm him down. But otherwise,
man.
that dude just he's just too out of
Goes off the
control.
rails sometimes, man.
He gets a little bit. He starts betting on things. It's just it's a shame for the sport. But otherwise, than that, Ryan, as you reflect, and I know you've probably had about 100 episodes on Hoopsville this year alone. What do you take away from the season, and what do you take away from these guys in terms of just the impression of this season? It just felt like there was so much talent. I mean, even more so than some of years past, maybe because of the fifth year senior, maybe because of people hanging around, but it was just, the ball was at a whole nother level.
Yeah, I mean, and I think everybody appreciated it more, right? Because everyone missed out on something that was really important, and you felt that all across the country. Everyone was putting in full effort. Everyone appreciated this in a way that they hadn't before. You always hear, and you guys are, some of you entering into this now, when your career is over, you can really appreciate fully for what you had. And I think you got a unique experience of kind of getting that in the middle of the process, right? Is you never knew if this was going to come back. You never knew if this season was going to happen. And so you got that from everybody. That was just such a great year. Everybody putting on their all. I mean, I think I have rightly been called a little bit of a Wabash hater over the years, but what you guys were able to do on the run that put on at the end to kind of finish off this career, I think was absolutely fueled by the experience of not having it for a season and understanding just how much you appreciated what was going on.
Honestly, I think one of the coolest things I saw, I know we talked, a little bit, a little bit truth, a little bit, not about sort of Twitter and sort of some of the goings on there. I'll tell you, I believe it wasn't Jack. Correct me if I pronounce any of this wrong, but seeing Amani Jones sort of come to defense of Eric Schreiber on Twitter on some of the things, like again, that's to me, it's one of the coolest things about D3. I mean, hopefully it would happen anywhere. But that was just awesome. I mean, seeing teammates be teammates, not just on the court, but be brothers outside, no matter where they go, and hopefully that will continue, far beyond the basketball career. But that's the kind of feeling, that's the kind of thing that's happened this season. Hopefully will happen every season. But it's just unreal, and I imagine that was the case, obviously, all season at Wabash, but each one of your teams, the brotherhood that exists between the players, no matter whether they're seniors and fifth year seniors or whatever, and been through the trenches, or guys really just coming on. Right, like I know we're looking forward to great things from a Cody Mitchell, right? And other freshmen that have really done incredible things already, and are only going to now have that mantle to carry to be able to have that leadership. So it's been unreal, and that was I'm talking about hella cool to see. Just again showing up every place we can. So with that, we'll give guys the a little bit of the final word. Shu, I don't know if we have anything specific that we want to ask these guys. We can't thank you enough, guys. I appreciate it. Unfortunately, when you see this, you guys are going to miss out on all the comments. If you go back to YouTube, unfortunately, I don't believe it keeps the comments, or maybe it does, and you'll see. But Marcus, your family is hilarious and amazing, and it's been like half the fun has been me just like looking over to see what the next back and forth is. Sounds like Irv. Is that your dad? Is that an uncle? Is that who's Irv?
One of my number one fans. That's my brother.
Your brother has been has been apparently giving you some when you talked about sort of the mistakes that maybe your text. It sounds like Irving may be the one that shows up there. So it's been awesome. Hopefully that's been part of this experience. So forgive me if it appeared rude as I was leaning on to the right, but the comments here are hilarious, and hopefully you guys get to see them as you go. But we can't be more thankful for you guys spending the time. We hope you won't be a stranger to D3, to the community as we keep going. We know some of you are gonna go on to bigger, better things. Well, everyone's gonna go on to bigger, better things. I'll give you my advice, as I gave the other guys from the last session. You might get stuck if you marry a Jersey girl, so just figure out what you do in that start of life. Think about where you want to live and the climate you want to be in. But you're going to go on, you develop both professionally and otherwise. So we're just unbelievably excited. And you may be sitting in this chair or in a different chair, or coaching or playing in the NBA, God willing. So a lot of awesome things that are going to happen this way. Thank you guys again, and appreciate it.
Hey, thank you so much.
Yep. Thanks for having us on.
No worries. And this, like I said, the link is always open. Anybody can stop by. Feel free, Ryan. You got some people get the key. They can come in whenever they want. But we're going to be following you guys. We're going to be looking forward to what you guys have going on. And just again, happy to help in any way that we can.
Thank you again. Congrats to you guys on great seasons.
Appreciate it, guys. Congrats to you.
You too. Thanks for coming on, guys. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks to our audience watching. Appreciate as we leave. Again, feel free to like, subscribe. Hopefully we'll have a lot more. We're going to try to connect to people as we go. We also have some wonderful charity opportunities and other opportunities that we may be throwing out there, but can't thank our fans and the audience enough, again, being part of this D3 community. Ryan, I mean, listen, thank you for letting us in. Thank you for coming and joining us. I know you, I feel like I have to send you to another show now because, I want you to get the trifecta in tonight. But it's just such a privilege to be able to do this. What is your off season? I really actually, as we're still going here, I want to know what your off season is like.
Well, I try to check out as much as possible. I don't keep up with all of the rumors and news as much. My wife works in a school, so summers are kind of special for us. We don't have a lot of time otherwise, so we do a lot of family stuff over the summer, and I really try to get back into it when fall comes around. And because we really don't know, somebody in the chat had asked, like, who's your favorite, already to win the championship the next year, and we don't know, right? I mean, we have the advantage that Pat sends out kind of a little questionnaire to see who's coming back and who isn't for some of the better teams, and that really helps us kind of figure it out when the season starts. But you don't know, right? we'll see coaches move around, and that's always interesting to follow. Who's going where, which positions are open. But ultimately, it's when the games are played that's exciting. So my off season is doing a lot of other things so that I can dedicate some time in the winter to this.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I know we will be, you know, again, teams on the recruiting trail, and we're just you know, we're excited. But the off season is a time to recharge. I still think the landscape is still going to be, with all the, again, COVID year and stuff shaking out, it'll be probably a couple of years, right, before that landscape, you know, shakes out. You might see more, right, of this transfer portal and sort of moves that happen at the end of the years and people using eligibility. I appreciate the comment from Bob on Twitter, so or on the chat. So I will clarify for everybody that I am beyond happy that I married my Jersey girl. I am not complaining at all about the wonderful marital situation I'm in and my beautiful 3 girls. So thank God, it is absolutely wonderful. I just, you know, I've tried to move to Florida for a couple of years, and now I gotta live vicariously through Shua. So, but it's all good.
That was a PR move if I've ever seen one.
Exactly. She's standing right behind. No, I'm just kidding. So no, it's all awesome. We know we're going to be paying a little bit of attention. We got a high school tournament coming up. We'll be talking a little bit about. It's hilarious and fun to see how many of the players come back out and watch their high school teams. I mean, you were talking about Ryan when you came on about asking Marcus whether your alma mater was, you know, one of the finalists. It's like it's wonderful. It's amazing to see how people sort of take that experience and it becomes part of their experience for life. And that's what, again, we've loved about this. We hope we continue that excitement and that narrative going into next season. Shua, thanks a ton for all the research on this one. Wow. I mean, what a lineup. So excited to put this together. So thank you for that. Ryan, thanks again for hopping on and stopping by. And I think we'll wrap it up. Maybe on the season, maybe not. We'll see what we got going on.
Yeah. No, thank you. Nathan. I had a whole thing prepared, but then Buzz wasn't on, so I got off to a rocky start with the intros, but it got better as we went along. I'm no Ari Lamb.
Listen, we can't all do the intros. We asked Ari to tape a few for us, but you know, when he gets permission, also is when he'll get it. We'll get it back going. Maybe we'll start researching those in the off season. But everything should be great. Again, thank you to Mayor, tremendous Mayor Wiesel on the 1s and 2s. Still haven't figured out what the 1s and 2s are, but we know he's on them and we know he's great at them and he helps us out and it's tremendous. Thank you guys. Oh, that's the best troll of the year. I just got a smiley face chat from my wife who joined the YouTube chat. I'm in for a long night, everyone. So with that, I will bid you all adieu and good luck. We'll see you again as we count down to this season. We can't, again, thank you enough and appreciate the brotherhood that's out there and wishing you all in D3 world. Enjoy the rest of the D1 madness. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, I second everything you said. You took everything I could have said and you said it in your your monologue. So I second it all. But this is awesome and looking forward to doing more. And Ryan, thanks for jumping in.
Oh, glad to do it.
Flashes from you.
We'll see you in Bloomington in November. All right. Just remember to circle the calendar.
It might happen.
Yeah. I didn't manage to get to a game because I kept pushing it off. And it was I'm very disappointed in myself. So I'm already going to be booking my tickets.
Oh, we're gonna run that. We're gonna run that trip. We got to show up. We got to show up with Yeshiva as well as they showed up at the Max Stern. So we got to figure it out. But it's going to be awesome. God willing, everybody stays safe and healthy. Until then, enjoy that special summer and peace out. Mayor, thank you again. And we'll talk to everyone soon.
See ya.
Peace out.